Every day, we turn on the light switch as if it is instinctual, without a second thought. However, in reality, for 99.9% of human history, that switch never existed. For 300,000 years, our ancestors spent nearly half of their lives engulfed in absolute darkness, where even the hand in front of them became invisible. Modern conveniences have made us forget the primal fear of the night, a time when only the starry sky and flickering flames existed. This is the hook that begins the exploration of how humans truly lived and evolved when the sun set. When the sun sets, humans become vulnerable. While lions and leopards have reflective membranes that allow them to see through the dark night, our eyes are useless. As daytime specialists, humans lose all visual advantage in the darkness. Without light, our ancestors were merely tasty prey for predators. The fear of the night is an instinct for survival, reminding us of a time when darkness meant danger and the fragility of humanity before nature. 1 million years ago, the greatest turning point occurred. Humans mastered fire. Fire not only provided warmth, but also created a safety circle is approximately 30 feet. Inside was light and life, while outside that boundary lay lurking death in the dark. Fire extended the day by 2 to 4 hours, transforming the night from a nightmare into a communal living space. Are you curious about what happens inside that magical circle? Comment 1 to join me in stepping into the theater of ancient stories. Fire not only brings light, but is also humanity's first time machine. Before fire, dusk meant that all activities had to stop. However, thanks to that flickering light, our ancestors' days were suddenly extended by 2 to 4 hours. These were precious moments when the pressure of survival eased. No longer preoccupied with foraging or hunting, humans began to have time to truly live. It is these borrowed moments from darkness that completely changed the rhythm of life, laying the foundation for the shift from instinct to intellect. The fire not only protected humans from wild beasts, but also extended the time for us to do things beyond mere survival. If daytime was for practical exchanges about work, then at night by the fire, 81% of conversations shifted to storytelling and mythology. It is here that imagination was sparked, and human culture truly began. But the most astonishing thing about the darkness lies not in the flickering fire, but in how we rest. You might think that sleeping for 8 uninterrupted hours is a natural standard, but in reality, it is an invention of the industrial age. Before artificial light dominated, our ancestors slept in 2 phases, biphasic sleep. They would go to bed early after sunset, sleep for about 4 hours, and then wake up around midnight. In that 1 to 2 hours of wakefulness, the world seemed to pause. This was not insomnia, but a natural biological rhythm known as the watch. After this quiet period, they would fall back into a second sleep until dawn. We once lived in a completely different rhythm, where the darkness was not just for forgetting the world, but for connecting with ourselves in absolute silence. The waking period between the 2 sleep phases is not fatigue, but a special state of consciousness. Modern science has discovered that during those quiet hours, our brains release a high concentration of prolactin, a hormone that creates a profound sense of peace and relaxation, similar to the state after meditation. Our ancestors utilized this quiet time to reflect on the dreams they just had, to share thoughts, or simply to lie in silence and think in a world devoid of noise. For them, this was when the mind reached its most enlightened and creative state. It was not a gap in sleep, but a gift of darkness, an invaluable layer of consciousness that modern humans have inadvertently exchanged for the convenience of electric lights. Research by Dr. Thomas Ware in 1992 proved that in the absence of artificial light, humans automatically revert to biphasic sleep patterns, sleeping 4 hours, waking for 2 hours, and then sleeping another 4 hours. During the waking phase in the night, the brain releases prolactin, a hormone that helps the mind feel extremely calm and clear. This aligns with over 500 historical documents that historian Roger E. Kirch found regarding first sleep and second sleep. Therefore, waking up at 2 a.m. is not insomnia. It is the body operating according to an ancient biological program that helps humans find peace and reflection. The consequence of this invasion is a large-scale biological experiment that we are conducting on ourselves. Artificial light, especially blue light from screens, is deceiving the brain into thinking that 11 p.m. is still daytime. It suppresses melatonin, disrupts the biological rhythm that has evolved over millions of years, and turns the natural waking state at 2 a.m. into a condition known as insomnia. We take medication to suppress it, but in reality, it could be that your body is trying to reconnect with its old instincts. If you're curious about what people in the Middle Ages did during their wakeful hours, please comment 0 so we can explore together. During this time, what did people do? Everything. They visited neighbors. People often dropped by. This not only helped strengthen relationships within the community, but also brought a sense of closeness and mutual support. Brief conversations could take place around the fire or in the quiet dark, where people felt more comfortable sharing thoughts and feelings. The darkness of night was also an ideal time for creativity. Many musicians and artists took advantage of this time to compose music. Music often became an important part of their lives, bringing joy and laughter to the community. In addition to visiting neighbors and composing music, people often engaged in various chores at night. This could include repairing furniture, preparing food, or simply gardening. These tasks helped them make use of their free time and maintain the activity of daily life. A 16th century French doctor recommended that couples should conceive during this time as they would do it better. The doctor believed that the tranquility and calmness of the dark night would create a favorable environment for intimate moments, helping couples feel closer and more connected. When people woke up in the middle of the night, they often tended to interpret their dreams while they were still fresh. This not only helped them understand themselves better, but also created opportunities for discussion and sharing the mysteries that each person experienced in their dreams. Many simply lay in bed in the dark, thinking or praying. A guidebook from the 1500s advised patients that the best time to study and reflect was during the watch time, as they called it. These hours allowed people to focus on reading, taking notes, or simply thinking about life's issues. As artificial light gradually took over, these activities may have been forgotten. However, if you have ever woken up in the middle of the night and felt your mind full of ideas, that is your body's natural mechanism trying to reconnect with its primal instincts. Finally, we need to recognize that darkness is not the enemy of life, nor a meaningless void. On the contrary, it is the truest mirror reflecting the soul of humanity. Consider rediscovering the value of darkness in modern life. Start with evenings without lights, creating space for conversations and taking time to reflect. If you agree that darkness can bring value, please comment 0 so we can together rediscover the precious values in darkness that modern life may have overshadowed.